Hello there, and welcome to the weekend forecast with Jason, and also another look at Christmas 2020. So, yesterday I released what I thought was quite an epic video talking about the prospects of a cold snap at Christmas. So, today I'm going to update that, show you the developments there, because we can bring a few other models on board today. So, it's still looking like a cold snap is potentially there round about the Christmas period. So I'm going to give you all the details and, of course, run you through the weather for the week to come. So hopefully going to do some screen sharing here, and hopefully this will work out just perfectly. Okay, so here we have it. Lovely. It's taking me a little while to get used to doing this. Okay, this week's quite unsettled. There's regular intervals of wind and rain, nothing too untypical for the middle of December. Still potential for a little bit of snow in the Scottish Hills this week. Generally, it's milder, especially down south, but in Scotland, I think we're still going to feel rather chilly. We'd be lucky to hit double figures. We may do that on Friday. There's going to be a few days that are a bit cooler than that, such as today, Sunday, where it's like 6 degrees and it's raining and it's windy and it's rather miserable. So I thought we would just cheer you up today again and have another little look at what Christmas time has to offer us. So I'm going to start off here with the GFS run again. And this is what we looked at yesterday. So I'm going to start off, I'm going to take you back to Monday the 21st again, the summer solstice. And here we've got the pressure and we've got the upper air temperatures, the 850s, as I was talking about yesterday. We need to get them down below zero or preferably below -5 to incur some wintry precipitation. So actually, I'm just going to show you the pressure charts, first of all. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we can see low pressure there in the Atlantic. There's high pressure towards Spain. That's never a good sign if you want wintry weather. There's also some high pressure there towards Greenland, constantly looking at that. You can see a ridge of high pressure, an area of high pressure just off Newfoundland there, and it looks like it's trying to extend in towards Greenland. But this is quite a cyclonic block, if you like, because of the high pressure there over Siberia, Western Russia, up there over Greenland, and also towards Canada. It's really keeping the low pressure kind of stuck right in the center of the Atlantic this entire week. So that's why I'm not showing you the detail of that. Let's run this on though, and let's see what happens. We bring the low pressure in a little bit closer. Here we go on Tuesday, the 22nd, into Wednesday. Okay, so this is where it looks a little bit interesting once again. The low pressure is managing to get through the country, and in the northern and western side of that low pressure, we're bringing in the winds from the north. And they do, if you follow the isobars, the white lines, all the way back to the polar region. So again, it's still showing wintry potential. Here's Christmas Eve, and more of us are into that northerly flow. You can see the airflow basically coming from around about the north of Greenland, flowing down the Norwegian Sea into northern Scotland, and we've got the northerly winds coming right down into, say, the Midlands. Here we go for later on in Christmas Eve. We've got the northerly flow established right across the country again. There's Christmas Day, look at that. Wonderful. So we've got low pressure to our east, and we've got that ridge of high pressure extending towards Iceland, and that is bringing the flow down from the north. So that definitely looks quite promising for a cold snap, certainly. We'll talk about snow in a moment. There's later on in Christmas Day, even more interesting because that low pressure there seems to be intensifying and moving down the North Sea, which would drag even colder air down across the entire country. There's Boxing Day, low pressure to the east, high pressure ridging into the west. That's a frosty, lovely day for western areas, and Boxing Day, brilliant for getting out and walking off the turkey, so to speak. And eastern areas would be potentially affected by snow showers in a scenario like this. If it comes off, remember, it's a while away. Let's run you a little bit further, settling down into Boxing Day and into Sunday with a high pressure more or less over us. Okay, what's it going to do? Here's Holiday Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, the 28th. That's when we have our Boxing Day holiday, of course. Look at that. High pressure now is trying to bring in an easterly flow. It's a southeasterly flow, a little bit easterly towards England. Is that high pressure going to get up to Scandinavia? You can see definitely influenced by high pressure there over the Christmas week. So what this run's suggesting is that it's unsettled the couple of days before Christmas. And then by Christmas Eve, we start to get into more of a northerly flow that becomes properly established over the country Christmas Day. All areas having a cold day, a little cold snap, potential for some snow. But that potential continues into Boxing Day for the eastern parts of the country, but then it's brightening up for the west and it's frosty. So it looks like the Christmas week now begins a little unsettled, possibly some wintry weather around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then it's settling down for the rest of the Christmas week. And I would imagine it to be a little bit frosty and a little bit of fog around as well. That's looking quite good, actually. Let's hope that this definitely verifies. So I'm going to show you a few other models as promised. This is the GEM. This is a Canadian model. It's one of the other ones that I like to look at frequently, and I like to contrast this model with some of the other European models that we look at in the Met Office as well. So like running it through, you can see this week, whoa, look at that low pressure right there, stuck right in the middle of the Atlantic. You can see it's a cyclonic block because of the high pressure up there and over here as well. As we run through, this is Tuesday, looking really unsettled, very unsettled there on Wednesday and Thursday. And this is not going to take us right up to Christmas, but it's going to show us just what's happening. That low pressure starting to make its way eastward there. That's the important factor. If we want the cold weather, we want the low pressure to get east. We don't want it in the west. We want it to go east. Look at that there for Sunday, the 20th. We're bringing cold air into the north here. You can see the flow is coming down from the north. It looks quite cold for Ireland as well, I've got to say. That little feature looks like a storm. We were picking up on the possibility of that yesterday. It moves through and we all go into a northwesterly flow, but the origins of that air, once again, north of Scandinavia. So that's a cold air flow. Wow. Okay, Monday 21st. So essentially, this model is bringing in the colder weather quicker because look at 22nd there. Let's go back to the winter solstice. Wishful thinking. The winter solstice there is looking cold, and we continue cold on Tuesday 22nd, continuing cold into Wednesday the 23rd, the eve of Christmas Eve, with more high pressure influences there. So that's looking a little bit drier towards the Christmas period. The ECMWF, the European model, let's have a look at that as well. Again, it's not going to extend right out to Christmas, but we've just seen the patterns there. Look at the consistency in the models here. They're all going for this low pressure this week, a very unsettled week indeed coming, but the low pressure does seem to get through with this model too. It's going for it, moving through more on the 20th. So on the solstice, it has moved through a chillier northwesterly airflow, I would suggest, being signalled by this model. And actually, it brings another area of low pressure in for the eve of Christmas Eve. But again, quite similar looking charts, as in this high pressure's ridging here, going up towards Greenland. So when this low pressure passes eastward, that's when we can pull down a little bit of cold air. So yeah, so far there's a bit of consistency between the models, and the model runs I'm going to show you this. This is the Arctic Oscillation. And I look at the North Atlantic and the Arctic Oscillation. It's just a signal for colder weather. So normally the default situation is that we have a positive Arctic Oscillation and a positive North Atlantic Oscillation, which means that there is low pressure up towards Iceland and high pressure ridging in from the Azores. Now, here is the flip of that. This is a negative AO and a negative NAO again. So just looking at where we are, we're quite negative just now. And if you look at the previous months there, you can see that we went through an extended period of positivity with the Arctic Oscillation there. And it tends to do that. It tends to run in months or, even seasons. Last winter, for example, was positive the entire winter. It just flipped on the 1st of December. And of course, we had such a wet winter last year, dull winter last year. This is opposite from what last year was shown. We're in negative territory just now, and quite substantially so, and the GFS ensembles are wanting to take the Arctic Oscillation into deeper negative territory. And again, that's just signifying that there might be high pressure in the northern latitudes towards Greenland, somewhere there, forcing the jet stream a little bit further south. There seems to be a little bit of a tick up there just before Christmas, but I would say that most of the ensemble are keeping the Arctic and the North Atlantic Oscillation in negative territory, which is very exciting if you want cold weather. Thought I would also show you another model here. This is CanSIPS, and this is an extension of the Canadian model that I mentioned earlier on, and this is the December forecast there. So looking at that, you can see the reds are high pressure. You see high pressure there in the middle of the Atlantic, extending up towards Greenland. Very positive. A little bit of red there towards Norway as well. The UK is under a trough of low pressure, but look how it extends just from the north of Scotland down into Spain and even North Africa. So again, that's showing us that potentially the flow would come down from the north. Just west of the UK. So we're looking for that to happen and for the whole thing to move forward into Christmas. So I thought I would show you that chart too, because it definitely excited me. And here we have the GFS chart for Christmas Day. This is the pressure and precipitation type. So let's have a wee look at Europe and what it's doing on the big day itself. So pink here is snow and blue is rain. And what you can see there on Christmas Day, it's forecast to snow in Scotland, particularly in the north and east, but it's showing snow as a precipitation type for Scotland there on Christmas Day. My suggestion is that that snow will work its way further south. As I say, Boxing Day at the moment, the models are showing us that there is potential for some wintry weather to get further down south. So maybe later in Christmas Day, and Christmas Day evening or Christmas Day night, we might see some snow further south as well. But that definitely is showing us that we have potential for some snow. Earlier on, I was going to show you the 850 millibar temperatures. So this is the 1 mile up in the atmosphere. As I say, we need to be at 0 to even consider snow, preferably below -5, 1 mile up in the atmosphere, which gives us a greater than 50% chance of precipitation reaching sea level as snow. So we're looking out for that. So just showing you here as we run through, you see a little warm wedge there in the pre-Christmas week. And as we run through to the 23rd, you can see the -5 isotherm then starting to come into Scotland and also into Ireland, although it remains a little bit milder in England there in Christmas Eve. We just bring the cold air right down through the country later on in Christmas Eve. And you can see actually the -10 isotherm there to the north of Scotland on Christmas Day. So when it's -10 at 850 hectopascals, that means that the temperature won't get above 0 during the day. And if it's clear at night, you could have double-digit negative numbers. It could be really quite cold. So that cold air is extending towards us. The whole country there, Christmas Day, is in the -5. Lower than that, as we'll see in a wee moment. there we are in Boxing Day. The whole country is certainly within the -5 isotherm. That continues into the 27th, especially for England, and then it begins to get a little bit milder in Scotland there on Holiday Monday and into Tuesday. So it becomes a little bit milder as we go through the Christmas week, according to this. So I'm going to take you back there and let's zoom into the UK. And let's have a look at the numbers here. The scores on the doors. So Tuesday, reasonably warm upper air temperatures. Certainly no snow, not even in the Scottish mountains on Tuesday. As we run through though into Wednesday, you can see the greens coming into Scotland. So that's the 0 isotherm, and that black dashed line up there is your -5 isotherm. So there we go on Wednesday. It's coming towards us. Christmas Eve, look at that, Christmas Eve morning. Still a little bit of milder air in the south of England and the southeast, but there's a -5 isotherm. And actually, if you look at the temperatures just north of that, we've got -9s there to the northwest of Scotland. Quite exciting. And Christmas morning, here we have it. There's a -10 isotherm there. Most of Scotland -9, the Glasgow area, Edinburgh about -8. That's showing us that any precipitation that does fall, if it does fall, according to this run, it will fall as snow, even to low levels. And you can see the black dash line. That's really the parameter where I'd say, right, north of that, you could incur snow. South of it, you may. Because the upper air temperatures, even in the south of England, are about -4. So that could bring us a little bit of snow. That's Christmas morning. And here we go for later on in Christmas afternoon. Proper cold air extending right the way down the country. Northerly winds there. Those white lines there are the isobars, the surface pressure. You look at that low pressure there and said it was going to deepen a wee bit and swing further south, dragging its cold air with it. So there you go in Boxing Day, even in the south of England, -8, -9 around the Glasgow area, -9 in the north of Scotland as well. So that is a bit of a cold snap there, for sure. We knew it was going to get a little bit milder as we run into the Christmas week, just a little bit. But under high pressure, we have what was called an inversion there. So even though the upper air temperatures are a little bit warmer on the surface with high pressure, because there's an easterly flow there coming in, we're dragging a little bit of continental air in. So it'll be colder than this does suggest. So, oh wow, what another exciting update for Christmas. As I say, this week is unsettled, often cool in Scotland, a few milder days across the UK, particularly in the south, a few windy days as well, and that windy weather and wet weather continues right the way up until a couple of days before Christmas. Some of the models are settling this down a little bit and bringing the colder weather in after the 21st, but most of them agree that there's a cold snap potentially. I've shown you 5 models there that are suggesting that we're going in that direction for Christmas. Now, when I come back on and do this all again, it could look completely different, but I thought I would come on today and just let you know, because the other models are now becoming in the time frame of Christmas. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for everyone that viewed yesterday's video. I thought I would have another go at it today just to get used to doing the graphics and to doing that with ease and grace, as I can show you some different charts on different occasions. I'll be back later on in the week, of course, with another Christmas update, because we know this week's going to be wet and windy. Nothing too out of the ordinary. So let's keep focusing on this potential cold snap for Christmas. Fingers crossed that we pull it off. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have an amazing day and you're having a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in again. I really, really appreciate it. Please leave your comments. Please share this video. Please sub to the channel. That would be absolutely awesome. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.